Right, what's going on, everybody? My name's T.S. and I write comics, and I'm here to hear about your new comic book day pull list. Like, what did you get when you went to the comic book store today? Because guess what? I got snowed in. I could not leave my house today. I built a rad snow fort in my backyard with my son, and I read some comic books, and I mostly took the day off because I couldn't leave. So I gotta know, what did you get on New Comic Book Day? Because I didn't get a chance to go. So I gotta live vicariously through you. What did you get? What did you want to get? Did you get snowed in too? Are you in the Midwest? That's what I'm here to hear about. Also, I'm going to be appearing on 2 different podcasts today, so please let me know if you check them out or if you plan on checking them out. First is going to be Roll for Hero with Esteban, your Uncle E, and Mr. Fish from Mr. Fish Comics, where they mostly draw, and I'm the writer guy, so I'm going to be doing color commentary. And then I'm on one more. I gotta find the name for it, though. It's for Sketching the Beast podcasts. Ty, what's going on, dude? How you doing today? JP, how you doing, dude? Hope everyone's doing okay today. I got snowed in because I'm in Michigan, and it snowed just a crap ton today and last night. And I wasn't able to make it to the comic book store, so I'm a little bit sad. I'm glad you're good, Ty. You reading anything cool this week? Also, I should do the plugs now before I get too far into talking about everybody else's comic books. If you like comics, if you like Indiana Jones, my new comic book, The Digger, can be pre-ordered right now at your local comic book shop. It's basically What If Indiana Jones Hunted Shortround. It's being published by Invader Comics, and it is available to pre-order right now at your local comic book shop. Ask for issue 2. Issue 1 hits comic book store shelves January 14th. Not really, just trying to settle into a new place. How did the move go? How did it go from getting out of that room? Is it a good place that you're in? Are you happy about the move? How'd it go? I hope you're doing well. Sorry for the glare behind me. The sun has decided to come out as soon as I started streaming. How's everybody doing today? I'm hoping to hear about your comic book pull list because I wasn't able to get to the store this week because I got snowed in. Kiku, what's going on? My coffee's kicking in, I can feel it. Hope everyone's doing okay. Let me know if you got to the comic book shop or if you're in the Midwest like me and got snowed in. I didn't expect the snow to be this bad. But I did build a rad snow fort with my son in the backyard today. That was really cool. Got everything set up to do a signing at the Vault of Midnight Comic Books. So if you're in the Detroit area, January 17th, come out and get your copy of The Digger signed by me. And we turned in all of the final stuff for issue 3 of The Digger, which was really cool to get done. A mile? Like it's better by a mile? Ultra Comics E, what's going on? I'm so excited to be podcasting with you today. At 3:30, come and check me out on the Roll for Hero podcast. Your Uncle E is going to be drawing something really radical, and I'm going to watch this time. I'm not going to draw. I'm going to listen and commentate and probably talk about comics while he draws something incredible. Because last time I didn't say anything because I was just trying to keep up with him and Mr. Fish, and I did not do a good job. It's going to be a blast. Oh, I'm excited. You missed the first part, but yes. I didn't get the first part. I'm sorry. It might not have been, might not have made it through. Thank you so much for the likes, guys. You're gonna pick my brain? Ooh, what are you gonna pick my brain for? There's not much in there unless you want to talk about comics. I know a little bit about bridges, a little bit about architecture, some stuff about teeth. My wife's a dental hygienist. I can talk about that for a little while, but mostly the only stuff up here is comic books and storytelling. I know quite a bit about Power Rangers. Not that that's very useful to anybody, anywhere. I have missed something many of those lives. I'm sorry. Aliens. You're gonna pick my brain about aliens. Interesting. Overly Arthas. I disagree. What do you disagree about, buddy? I'm alive, Kiku. Thank you so much for asking. I got snowed in. I was hoping to get to the comic book shop. I had to cancel a couple of meetings at shops for signings. Today, we were going to try to get some stuff figured out so I could sign more places for the Digger that's coming out January 14th. And I got snowed in. So I was really disappointed because there was a few books I really wanted to get and a few trades that finally came in that I was hoping to pick up. Some for me, some for my wife for the holidays. And it just snowed nonstop where I was at. And I am not able to leave. I am stuck. This guy again, says Kevin Davis. Yes, I'm here all the time. I almost streamed yesterday as well, but I'm trying to do it every other day just to keep a schedule going. I can't do it all the time. And yesterday also was a big writing day. I had to turn in everything for issue 3 of The Digger and lock down everything for issue 4. So just had to do it. Well, sir, what's going on? PR knowledge is always relevant. That's fair. Power Rangers knowledge is always relevant. Are you excited about the reboot finally getting traction over at Disney? It's finally going. They have some people attached to it. The rumor, and they basically all but confirmed it the other day on the red carpet, is the team behind the Percy Jackson reboot show is going to be the ones heading up the Power Rangers reboot. I'm really excited about that. My son, who's 8, is extremely excited about it, so I'm going to be pumped to be watching that with him live. I don't know if I got your most recent message on Discord yet, Thomas. I will definitely check it out. I hadn't been at my computer too much today because I was hanging out with my son, playing in the snow. Plus, because it was a snow day for them on top of me being snowed in, that meant I was here with the kids all day and didn't have as much time for all the social media stuff. So if I owe anybody responses, I apologize. I am unable to respond to everything today in a timely fashion. I'll get to it all, though. We must be that connected since you keep showing up on my pages. Dude, I'm always around. I'm always doing stuff. Even when I'm not actually on social media, I'm still at my desk because I'm always here writing or sending emails or whatever. You officially submitted your pitch? Oh, that's so good, dude. Congratulations. I'm rooting for you, dude. Remember me when Image takes your pitch. Literally just watched the Percy Jackson new episodes. Oh, that's so cool. I haven't watched anything from season 2 yet. I'm always down for new stories, especially if they're actually going to put effort into the story when talking about the Power Rangers reboot. Me too. Let's hope and see. I wasn't always the biggest fan of Disney's stuff when they had taken over Power Rangers back in the day, but I was a kid and I was really stuck in the Zordon era, and now it'll be much different watching it live with my kids, with my son. So it'll be exciting. Oh man, my connection is unstable. Oh, I'm sorry. TS being a W dad. Well, I hope so. I think it's a low bar that me playing outside with my kids on a snow day is a big deal. I think sometimes that says more about other dads than it does about me, but I love hanging out with my kids. My kids are rad, and, I also like playing in the snow. I got to build an igloo. I can't say that I've done something like that since I was a little kid, so being able to do that with my son, as much as it's a blast to be a dad and to be out there with him, it's also just fun for me to get to go and play, You don't get a chance to do that as much as an adult, so I had a blast hanging out with him. When anyone takes my pitch. Oh, someone will take your pitch, dude. You got a good pitch. To be fair, it just came out today. Yeah, that's true. What's going on, Tomonomicon? How you doing? Honestly, I don't like reboots, says Kiku. It always depends. I've always been a fan because even if they stink, even if I don't like them nearly as much as I like the other, like the original thing, it can't take that away from me. I get I push back a little bit when people say like, "Oh, it ruined my childhood. I loved it when I was a kid, and this new one is just not as good, so it ruins it." Except for it doesn't ruin it. You can always go back to the other one. You can always pretend this one doesn't exist. It doesn't have to ruin your childhood. Because of the age that we live in, you will always be able to get the old thing back. Like, I'm not a big fan of some of the Star Wars stuff that's come out over the few years, but I can always just go back and watch Empire Strikes Back. I can, nothing that's come out since, even though I wasn't as big of a fan of it, ruined my childhood. That's just not really how it works. I don't love every single version and every single reboot, but I'm excited for new takes because it might be as good. It might be better. I love that they keep getting to take swings at stuff like that, and I get more of the stuff that I love. Even if I don't love it the same way, even if it's not as good to me, I still get to hold on to it. So it's not like it disappears. I won't say it ruins it. It's like giving your little cousin an old toy and he breaks it. Wow, Kiku, that is a great way to describe it, actually. And I'll totally agree with that. It is like that when they kind of ruin it. But I still have my memories of playing with that toy. So even though my little cousin ruined it, I can still hold on to those memories and cherish them. Lucas, what's going on, dude? How you doing? What'd you get on New Comic Book Day? Did you go to the comic book store? Did you get snowed in like I did? And what are your takes on reboots? You can always make your own canon. I mean, that's the way that I've always done it. Because for a long time, you couldn't be a super fan of everything. There wasn't a wikia for every single property, and everybody had different theories, and they were never confirmed. So it's never bothered me to do that. Tomonomicon says, new takes are fun. It still feels like there's too much IP recycle instead of trying new things. That I will definitely agree with. That's going to be the case, I feel like, for a long time. But because the internet is full of niches and little microcosms, I feel like we're starting to reach a point where we're going to continue getting new things. When you have big studios, if we're talking like the Hollywood mentality, big studios like Blumhouse or A24 or Neon, like specifically the horror genres, they're always trying new stuff. And I think that that's starting to trickle through as they've run out of comic book properties to a certain extent. Like, we're already seeing them digging into different IP to reboot and translate into movies. So I think that we're doing a little bit better. I'm very optimistic that it won't always be just reboots and remasters, but I still like a lot of those too. Ultra Comics says, I'm getting the podcast ready for 3:30. Dude, I'll be ready. Specifically, I went live when I did so I could roll right from this into Roll for Hero. If you want to watch E draw some amazing stuff and hear us talk smack about Mr. Fish from Mr. Fish Comics, please go and check us out on Roll for Hero. That'll be right after this. Did you write a comic, Timo? I did. I've written dozens of comics. My new one, The Digger, is available for pre-order at comic book shops right now. It's basically What If Indiana Jones Hunted Shortround, and that's widely distributed. You can get it at any comic book shop. Issue 1 comes out January 14th in local comic book shops. It's from Invader Comics. Six Scales, how you doing? I did write several. I also have books that are sold right here on social media, like Tokyo Fire, which is basically what's a good way to describe it? It's basically Akira meets Scott Pilgrim. It's about these two thieves who see something they shouldn't have seen, these two goobers, and they get roped in between a civil war between superpowered cops, superpowered criminals, and a madman who's got pyrokinetic powers trying to burn it all down. It's a lot of fun. It's like cyberpunk Scott Pilgrim is a great way to describe it. And then I have Hellion and Bash, which is basically my evil Batman story. It's way more than that, but that's one way to describe it. Who saves the superhero, or who saves the sidekick from the superhero? And when no one wants to stand up to Batman, the supervillains have to, and they step up and save the sidekick, and they all go on the run from the superhero community. So, I have a million other comic books. I write some for publishers, some for myself, but The Digger is my big one that's in comic book shops right now. I'd call it my big break comic book. Lucas, you seem so upset. I hope you're doing okay. And if you need anything, you can always ask. You can always talk about it here. But it's going to be all right. There's plenty of new stuff. They just don't have marketing. Yeah, that's really true. There's always new studios, new comic books, new TV shows, new movies that are coming out. They just don't always cross over that threshold. I think the thing that people see when they think that it's all only ever recycled IP is that's what they see advertised. That's what they see commercials for. That's what they see trailers for. And that's what drove me towards the horror genre when it came to watching movies. I was not a scary movie guy growing up. And I started watching scary movies because they were fresh and new and genre storytelling that you didn't get other places. So I had moved over to that, and I've loved it since. I now would say that I'm a scary movie guy. If mainstream media is boring you, switch to indie. I completely agree. Or go and check out foreign movies, foreign comic books from other cultures, TV shows, movies. So many hidden gems for you if you don't watch foreign media or read foreign media. It's all translated. It's so easy to translate it yourself, even if you want to, and you can find so many new ideas because it's just not in your culture necessarily. It's not in your native language. And so there's a lot of different stories. Like when I think of a treasure trove of movies, it's if you don't watch Korean cinema. Some of the best movies to come out of the last 20 years are Korean, and even before that. But you can really go and discover some new stuff. Timo says, I pulled the Digger. Can't wait to read it when it comes out. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you so much. I really hope you dig it. And if you do, please come back and tell me. And if you don't, you can come tell me too, but just know that I'll probably cry. But that's okay. You can totally tell me. Six Kills, thank you so much for the sunglasses. I appreciate you, dude. Digger is great, says Wilser. Thank you, dude. I think you might be biased because the art is incredible and you're an artist, but I do like it and I appreciate that you like it as well. I just saw a trailer for a new Deathstalker movie talking about digging deeper for renewals. Oh, whoa, that's crazy. My comic shop is so far even worse because I moved over a country. I mean, that's a little bit where I'm at, right, or moved over a county, I'm sorry. That's a little bit where I'm at, too, is I moved during the summer, and I'm a little bit more in the middle of nowhere, and it takes me about 30 minutes to 40 on a good day. So the second the inclement weather hit, it's like, man, it's going to be hard to get to any shop. Kiku says, I'm actually drawing a Superman panel. Oh, that's so cool. Are you drawing it officially for DC? Is this a fan project? And where can we see it? Are you going to post it on Instagram? Six Gill says, if I win the lottery, I want to buy Tokyo Fire from you, animate it, and hire you as a showrunner. I really appreciate that. I hope you win the lottery. I will say that technically it is already being animated by a studio here in Michigan. I don't think we can announce it fully yet, but the rights would be difficult to work out because I have some movement on that already. But never say never, and that was mostly for them to do it as a pilot to get other work. I don't think it was even actually really to get Tokyo Fire into more hands. I don't think that was the end goal of that project. So it might be available. You think Marvel should reboot? I do. I think that they could continue where they are if we're talking about the MCU. I could see a reboot doing well. They could recast all the actors that have had to leave or wanted to leave the project. We could get a new Captain America, a new Iron Man, and come closer to the 616 in the comic books. I think it could do well. Selfishly, I don't want them to reboot. I love the idea that Sam Wilson is Captain America because Chris Evans doesn't want to be Captain America anymore, because they can't keep those actors. And I like that idea because I could see it trickling down easier to the comic books, where it's a little bit easier to accept because they're matching the movies, and we can have more of the legacy type superheroes that I grew up with in the 90s. Because in the 90s, every hero was legacy, especially if we look at DC. And I love the Passing of the Mantle. When I was reading comic books, like Wally West was the Flash, and Dick Grayson was Batman, and so on. And so I love that idea. Even in the Clone Saga with Spider-Man, right? Like Ben Reilly had taken up the mantle. I love that idea of letting there be a legacy and letting these comic books age into maybe not a third act, but a more interesting second act. So that's my crazy theory. I wish that they wouldn't fully reboot, but they probably will, and it might be good. It might be better for them to have a fresh slate than to be tied into some of the projects that didn't perform as well in this, whatever phase 5 and 6 was, the multiverse saga of it all. So I could see them doing it. Batman, no more orphans. The script is great too. Thank you so much, Will, sir. I appreciate you. He's talking about The Digger. Did you get a chance to skim through the digital book I sent you? I sure did, and oh my gosh, the art is incredible. I had so much fun reading it, and it just cements it even more. I want to work with you so bad on some sort of project. It doesn't even have to be tokusatsu, although I think that you crushed it on that front. It was awesome. I want to message you more thoughts on it because I had so much fun reading it. But I will say that right now, it was a blast. Feel free to plug the project in the comments too if you want people to know about it. I'll read it out loud. I don't remember the name of the actual book. Thomas Moran says, I have about 5 shops around my area that keep popping up. Do they keep popping up because other ones are closing down? I'm really curious about that, but that's really cool. What area are you in? I'm technically, I think you would call it the Flint area, but I'm in the countryside near Flint. Kiku says the Superman drawing is just to get better at drawing their comic. I wish I drew for DC. That's totally fair, dude. Who doesn't when it comes to working for them? I will never disparage fan art for practice or just practicing your art in general. That's really, really important and key to getting those types of gigs, especially putting out your own comic book. So do you. Like, that's awesome. The DN, hey, how are you? Couldn't buy some comics today, but I'm reading everything DC Absolute right now. Oh, that's so awesome, the DN. I also couldn't because I couldn't escape out of the snow to get to the comic book shop today. But, I mean, the Absolute universe is just destroying it. It's so good. I just got caught up on Absolute Wonder Woman yesterday. I'm almost all caught up on Absolute Batman. I didn't read this month's yet. Honestly, everything. My favorite, though, would be Absolute Green Lantern. That book just came out of nowhere, so off the wall, so different. I love everything that they're doing over there. It's my favorite Green Lantern book in a really long time. I'm digging it. Heck yeah, Will, sir. We definitely will. I can't wait. Ty says, the way I'd make so many of my friends' comics into audio dramas. I mean, so I got the chance to work with... or be on the podcast for Bros, Foes, and Heroes podcast, and they do a lot of audio dramas, so I'm pitching them a couple of basically translations from my books and then some original audio drama stuff. I used to do audio dramas in high school. One of my mentors worked for the local radio stations. I've performed, like, the Christmas Carol and stuff like that. I love audio plays, and it's a really fun thing. It's just so much more time consuming than I think people think of, and especially if you want to do a good job. I don't know that every comic book can be translated to it well, because you can't just read the script, right? You have to really work at it. But I'm definitely interested if the day ever comes. Thomas says, nope, they are all staying open in St. Charles. It's 30 minutes outside St. Louis. Well, that's awesome that they're all staying open. I love to hear that there's enough business for all of them to stay up and running, because the margins on a comic book shop are so slim. Like, it's hard to stay afloat and keep everybody going. At least where I'm at, when it comes to the smaller towns that have comic book shops, they don't buy every single Marvel and DC title. They're really limited on what they get in, and they don't try their hand at a lot of creator-owned. They stick to the big performers, like stuff from Image and Dark Horse. Even Boom wasn't in a lot of the shops where I came from for a long time. They're starting to now. Like when Power Rangers was really taking off, and SIKTC, that was when they started to really do stuff with Boom. And they never ever do indie stuff. Like, there's never ever like an indie spot on the shelf that isn't someone like me walking it in and going, hey, can I put this here? They just don't have the margins for it. Nice. As a narrator / voice actor, love that. Yes, you're definitely correct when we're talking about the radio shows. Shout out to STL for sure. Okay, back to work. Have a good one, Wilser. Thank you so much for stopping by, dude. Thomas says, all of them do their own thing. Some are older comics, some modern, some sell toys, card games. The toys thing I'm really interested in. If you get the chance, Thomas, if you know, or if you can ask for me, just as like a personal interest, where are they getting distributed toys from? Are they just collecting themselves and it's like collector's toys that they've picked up? Or do they have new distribution? Because a lot of comic book shops were getting their toys from Diamond. Like, that's a thing that a lot of people didn't know. Obviously, you're getting your comic books through Diamond, but most comic book shops were getting their toys and collectibles distributed through Diamond as well. And when Diamond left, they got distribution for their comic books through like Lunar and Penguin, but they didn't get toys through them because they don't distribute that. I know some toy operations, like McFarlane has partnered with some distributors for board games to get their toys in the shops again, and there's a couple of other ones, but I'm really curious where the toy distribution came from because, again, a lot of people might not know, but your comic book shops, because the margins are so thin on comic books, a lot of them stay open because they sell toys and collectibles and cards and board games and stuff like that. That's where you can have that lost leader of comic books and make rent on selling toys. So I'm really curious if they ended up getting new stuff distributed through somewhere else. They have trade-ins mostly. Yeah, see, like, that makes sense, and that's what my local shop over here still has. It's more like consignment when it comes to toys. But I hope to see that come back around because that did really help a lot of shops because comic books don't always sell as well as they need to. And it's tough to know which titles are going to keep the doors open. So the toys definitely help keep everything afloat, especially in like the season like this, right, where it's Christmas time and people are looking for new stuff. That can, help pay the rent when people aren't walking in every single new comic book day. So it's a weird byproduct of Diamond going down, like so many things are in the comic book industry right now. Trying to catch up on all the chats. Trying to find the other name of the podcast I'm going to be on later on. Obviously, I'm going to be on the Roll for Hero podcast. Please go check this out at 3:30. I'm going to be on there with Esteban of Ultra Comics, and we're going to be talking about aliens, he said. So we're going to be talking about aliens and our new comic books coming out. So hoping we get to meet up at New York Comic Con in 2026. Thomas, I would love to. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to New York for that. I'm working on getting out to New York and New Jersey for some signings of the Digger issues 2, I think. I think issue 2 in February is when I'm going to be out that way. I would like to get to New York Comic Con. I don't know if I'm big enough to table there yet. And even if I was, I don't know if I can afford to do it. Part of being able to table at Motor City Comic Con was one of my publishers, Professional Entropy. That's who publishes Tokyo Fire and Hellion and Bash. They paid for me to table there. When it comes to cash, I don't know if I'll be flush enough to be able to table at somewhere like New York Comic Con, or if it would be a good idea for me to do that over other local cons as well. But Invader will get you there. I mean, I don't know if they will. I don't know if they'll be able to pull off something like that, or if that's something that they're interested in. I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think it depends on how well the Digger sells throughout. Right now, our pre-orders are really, really strong for issue 1. Over 1,000, almost over 1,500 pre-orders alone at shops for the Digger issue 1, which is incredible for an indie guy like me and someone who's never been sold in shops like that. So I think that's a really good sign for the series. But like, if the Digger wins an award, I'll be at New York Comic Con, right? I'll get other jobs. It's the thing that I always say. It's like, my career will go as far as the Digger does. If the Digger sells well, you'll see me popping up on other books. You'll see me at more cons. If it doesn't, well, you can find me in Michigan doing more indie stuff. So I never want to take it for granted. I'm never going to assume it's definitely going to happen. If it does, I'll be there. This was the last week, but I picked up the latest issue of Boom Studios' Speed Racer. Oh, this is the end? Like, Speed Racer's coming to an end? I did not know that. And it's not Boom, it's Mad Cave. Mad Cave was doing Speed Racer, not Boom. Also started VR Troopers. Oh yeah, VR Troopers is rad. I'm not fully caught up though because I've been rereading the ending of the original Power Rangers universe because I never read the Prime stuff that they were doing. So I was kind of getting caught up and acclimated to that series. Goblin, what's going on? Yeah, New York Comic Con is expensive. Goblin, when are we gonna table again together? We doing Elk Fest again this year? Even if we don't get to table actually together at a booth, I would love to just set up my table nearby. But I definitely want to. Gotta paint those mushrooms. Those mushrooms pay the bills, dude. When I look at how many of those that you sell, like, that's incredible. I did, Kiku, and I haven't finished it yet, though, so no spoilers. I'm digging what I have. Also, I think you downplayed your art, Kiku. I think your art is really, really good. I do not think it comes off like you are a complete beginner. I'm sure you did that on purpose to make sure that I was like, no, actually, this is really good. Like, set the expectations low so you can, be above the bar. But it is good. I'm excited to keep reading it. Mop Theory says, in the same Snowden predicament as you, I just caught up on James Tynion's Red Book. Haven't read anything quite like it. Dude, Red Book is awesome. I love Blue Book. I was not expecting Blue Book to be as, what's the word? Like, non-fiction. I didn't really expect that it was going to be real accounts, or at least what people have said their accounts were of all the alien abduction stuff. I thought that was really fascinating, and Red Book being kind of a spin on that has been really cool. If you follow me on here or any places online, you know that Michael Oeming is a hero of mine, and so his art is always incredible on those books, and I love anything Oeming puts out. I'm going to buy it, and James Tynion is huge, both for me and my wife. She's a giant Tynion fan, so always a day one purchase for me. Yeah, Kiku, for sure. Plug it again in the comments so other people can check it out. Y'all tabling without me, cheaters. Dude, we're tabling all the time. The guy at my local shop said that due to low sales, Speed Racer will only get one more arc. That's fair. I mean, I could see it not doing well. Mad Cave is not as big as something like Boom at the moment, but I've loved everything from the Speed Racer series, and I've seen a lot of people buying it. So maybe it doesn't sell well just at your shop, but maybe that's a thing across the board. But I think it's been really cool. We only did one together so far. That's very, very true. Like, we did Elk Fest in Gaylord, Michigan, which is the smallest con that you could go, because it's not a con, it's a festival. It's a street fest, right? Like, they have food trucks, and there's a parade, and, lots of vendors for all sorts of kinds, of stuff, so. And then there's us selling comic books, and Goblin can attest, it's not like the comic books were selling like hotcakes. It was mostly stickers and our knickknacks and stuff like that sold well. I sold more scripts and stickers by almost tenfold than I did comic books. I sold a lot of sketches that day because people would just come and watch me draw and buy my original sketches. That sold way better than comics did. Love me causing chaos over here while he's reading other chats. It is true. Like, I look back over and you're starting fights. Get up here during Alpine Fest. I'll let you set up my tent and sell. Honestly, that's how I did it. And I thank you so much, Goblin, because that got me really used to a different kind of crowd. And it got me ready for Motor City Comic Con when I did that. Overly Arthas says, I hope that's the case because I love it, talking about the Speed Racer comic. Me too. I've loved everything. I love the spinoff. I love the Racer X tie-in. I think that's been really cool. I think it had the potential to do for Speed Racer what Boom did for Power Rangers, maybe to a smaller scale because it's a smaller fan base for Speed Racer, but I thought it was a lot of fun, and it had a lot of heart to it, and the art was incredible, and the writing was on point, and it felt like Speed Racer without being too cheesy. And I think it did a good job of marrying the original Speed Racer manga and anime with the weird wacky dub we got here in America, in the 80s and well, technically, back in the 70s, but like when I saw it in the 80s, 90s. And I think that it did a good job of just marrying everything together and giving something for everybody who had any nostalgia for Speed Racer. So, like, I really enjoyed it. Stickers are always a big seller. It's true, especially like for those street fests, man. I sell so many stickers and art prints. I have a whole series of art prints that I've done that I sell just because they sell at those places. Like, I don't bring them to Comic Cons, and it's like the wacky Disney figures, Minions, stuff like that. I don't have anything out comics-wise, says Ty. No money to travel, in all seriousness. Yeah, that's totally fair, and you got to work your way up. Like, I didn't do tabling for a long time because there was no point in it. I needed to save my money to sell comic books. Kiku says, I'm glad to hear that I enjoyed their comic book, but when I look back on the first chapters, if you went in order, the first chapters were kind of to me. Oh no, I definitely did, and like I get that, like you can see your growth as it goes, but I think that that's good, and you want that, especially from an online series. That's half the fun of seeing how much you improve, both for yourself and for your audience. I think that that's really good. Go check out Woe Studio, WOA underscore studio underscore. Check them out and go read that comic. Yeah, you'll definitely get there, Ty, as you build it up. Like it takes time, and you don't want to fast track it. The last thing you want to do is table with one comic book and then nobody buys it, right? Like that stinks. You don't want to table with one product and have nobody interested. You want to table when you have a few things to sell, so it becomes worth it. It's a little bit easier at those smaller festivals, those smaller art shows, when it only costs $20-$30 for a table, and you only need to sell a handful of stuff to make up for that. But it's much harder when you do those bigger shows and it costs hundreds of dollars, plus travel fees, plus eating while you're there, plus you want to give back to the tables around you, and it gets really, really expensive. And if you're not going to have the stuff to sell there, it's not worth it. So don't feel like you're missing out. Like, you want to make sure you're doing stuff in the right order. How do you feel about Mora's art on Transformers right now? I dig Dan Mora's art in general. I don't think I've made it to that point. I don't pick up Transformers in floppy copy. I only have the trades. I just read volume 4, so I think that was still Jorge. And then like Ryan Otley had some stuff in there. I don't think I've seen Mora's art for Transformers yet. But I think I can answer, even though I haven't. I think I'm going to love it, because I love Dan Mora's art. Hands down, one of my favorite comic book artists of all time. And I love Transformers. I've loved everything. And marriage between Kirkman, one of my favorite writers, and Mora, how could it be bad? How could it go wrong? Geez, man, I'm going to have to mail you my copies. I mean, if you did that, I would read them. Specifically, it's like a series like Transformers where I know if I'm not reading it in floppy copies, other people are, so it's not like that book's not going to go away kind of thing. Like, Kirkman doesn't need my money to keep Transformers going. I save those ones to get in trades, partly because I don't have infinite amount of money, and partly because I can put that towards a series that might not live on in the trade if everybody who loves it isn't buying it right now. So I have to balance that kind of thing. I like Otley. I love Otley. I was always a big... what's going on, Dennis, by the way? I love Otley. I was a big Invincible fan from when I was a kid all the way till now. And so, obviously, Otley didn't do the entire run of Invincible, but did most of it. And I love his stuff. I loved him when he came over on Spider-Man. That was a dream come true. I keep wanting to talk to you about what's been happening. Heck yeah, man. You always message me. Although, I guess if you're talking about Transformers, please don't spoil Transformers for me. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Scene artist, I don't personally think is good. Sell like crazy. Dude, that happens all the time. I mean, so me and Goblin, we're at Elk Fest. This is up north, Michigan. This is a Gaylord festival. Again, somewhat small city festival. And all this handmade stuff. Goblin makes his own stickers and knickknacks. I got my comic books and my art prints. There's a dude next to us selling t-shirts in like hand-worked leather. And you know what sold best out of all of it? Were those crappy 3D printed dragons that everybody has the exact same STL file for. That sold like crazy. They made thousands of dollars, 2 booths down from us. And I mean, like, we did well, and Goblin, especially Goblin stuff, sold great. But it was those crappy dragons that you can get anywhere, and they weren't even like 3D printed that well. You could tell where they were like glued together and not sanded down, and that sold amazing. You know, like I'll be at festivals and like really, really terrible AI art will sell well, and so the cool thing is when people do start to come over and do start to appreciate your handmade art. That's all that matters. You know, you don't have to compare yourself to what else is selling. And there's a fan for your stuff. If there's a fan for that junk, there's a fan for your stuff. Pax, what's going on, dude? I got to get back to you. I wrote you like a novel worth of an email response to your new comic book designs that we're working on. And so I got to finish that up and send it over. There's that old saying, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, I'm sorry I wrote you such a long email. I didn't have the time to write you a short one. So I'm like, I'm trying to edit it down to like a digestible level because I had so many thoughts. Plus, because I started on the script last week, I now have way more narrative stuff to throw your way as we work through the concepts. Oh, that's what Arth means. They want to talk about Transformers. I totally fair, and we can totally talk about up to Volume 4, but I can't talk about what's going on at the moment. Kiku says, I'm glad to hear that. I left out the pages that they were to show some kind of transparency and evolution, even if it was kind of hard to post them as they were, since the difference between when I posted it and when I started, it was 100% traditional. I mean, yeah, like that, but the reason why I read stuff on webtoons and read online comic books from amateur artists or more indie self-published stuff is because I want to see the growth. I love seeing an artist that kind of started off rough around the edges and still wanted to put a comic book out there to where they get now. Yes, I love a great curated comic book that has a really consistent style and very professional, but I love to see the growth of artists working on one series. That's really cool, and there's not many art forms where you get to see that. And Webtoon and Tapas and those other online comic book platforms that are open source and anyone can post on there, that's where you can find that growth journey. And I love that about indie comics. And so never feel bad about that. I think that's really cool, and I will say that you show some real progress through. So go check out Woe Studio. I really appreciate how far you've gone. All those fake Labubu's, exactly, Goblin. They were everywhere, man. And I thought you had a genius idea of like using it, like when people found out that they were dupes, buying them off of people and turning that into art, got them excited about checking out your booth, got the fakes off the market, and got us to be able to throw a little bit of shade at that booth without like starting an out and out fight, you know. But let me go draw a few crosses real quick so I can join Goblin. That definitely, dude. No, Russ, I'm excited to read it. Oh, thanks so much, Pax. I appreciate you. Partly, it's hard for me to be working on so many new projects right now because the Digger is full on marketing mode, right? Like, I'm under contractual obligation to promote it. Plus, I love that book. I love Invader. I want to make sure that I do right by them and that my new comic book sells, right? But also, because it's selling well and it's doing a good job, I'm getting offered other jobs. And so I'm trying to balance that so I have other stuff to promote after the Digger is done. But so I'm kind of in this catch-22 where I have to promote the crap out of the Digger, which is something that I enjoy doing, but also I need to plan for the future after that. So I'm a little bit slow going on some of the other projects, and I do apologize. Normally, my production is a little bit faster when it comes to getting a script to you and working through the concept stage and getting ready to do pages. So I do apologize that I've been a little bit slow. Goblin says, I still got some of the Frankenstein Labubus. You should post more about that. I think that would do really well on social media. Kiku says the difference was 2 years between when you drew and when you posted. That's wild. So there's a huge gap in like your skill level. 2 years is huge. I learned how to draw period over a year. And so like I have this period where like I could barely draw stick figures, and then by the end of the year I was doing variant covers because I just, I stuck with it. And if you could see my art before and after, it would look like a completely different person. That probably had brain damage. Yeah, I know you're super busy and we jumped in at a weird time. I'm still super excited. I appreciate your patience, dude. Thank you so much for understanding, because it's not like I don't want to work on all these projects. I'm excited that the Digger is doing well, that people want me to do more marketing for it, right? Invader is asking me to do more podcasts. I'm on 2 podcasts today. I'm doing the signings at local shops. That's all really neat. I'm just starting to worry that all of my time has to go into marketing, and so when it's done and issue 4 is out and we're waiting for the trade to go, I'm going to have this gap of not working because I didn't drum up enough business in between and didn't have enough scripts done by the time that the Digger was done marketing. So I do worry about that balance between the current projects that need to get done and the projects that are out that need to be marketed and advertised. I haven't quite nailed that transition, I don't think. I'm about to lose you for a little Match Girl single issue if you keep getting so popular. No, I'm always down to work on stuff, dude. I'm not, trust me, I am not so popular. The Digger is my first book that's in comic book shops and widely distributed. We're working on getting distribution for Tokyo Fire and Hellion and Bash. And like, I wrote some indie stuff for Goblin, you know, since they're here, I can plug that project. And I've done lots of other indie stuff in between. And I'm pitching stuff to publishers right now, and I'm working on stuff in between. But it's not like I'm doing work for Marvel or anything like that. Like, I'm still around. I know it's a joke, but for real, though, like, I don't want anyone to think I've gotten too big for my britches or anything. When either of us make it, says Thomas, we need to co-write a book. Oh, I'm still down to co-write something with you, dude. I know we kind of talked about it, but then we both got busy. But I'm definitely down. I was just talking to Ryan the Reader. If you don't know about Monstrel, it's this amazing new comic book that's coming out that Ryan wrote. That's basically, picture an orc, you know, the classic orc that you're thinking of, but instead of becoming a warrior, he wants to become a bard. And it's all about the songs, and it's this really, really sweet adventure book that he's putting out from, was it Longbox Press, I think, or Shortbox Press? I can't remember the name of the publisher. But me and him were also working on coming up with some ideas to co-write something. I'm a little bit nervous about co-writing stuff with people. The one person I co-write with is Mr. Fish from Mr. Fish Comics in Alice Lost in Wonderland. And I mostly write that, and he gives where he wants the plot to go, and then I script it. But I've never co-written something with somebody, and I worry, I'm like, what if I'm not good to work with like that? Because, like, I co-created The Digger with Sam Gudelin, the artist, but, you know, it's both of our narratives. Same thing with Tokyo Fire with Sky Hawkins, but I'm the main writer, so I just want to make sure that I do a good job. I don't want to either take the reins or the reverse and not do a good enough job. You know, making sure that you're not doing all the work. So I'm totally down. I'm just nervous about doing a good job for you. Sketch, what's going on, dude? Sketching the Beast. I'm on your podcast later on, and I don't know what your podcast is called. I want to plug it right now while I'm still live. If you can let me know in the chat what your podcast is called so I can point people towards it. I'm going to be on that podcast at 7 o'clock tonight. And also, I'm going to be on the Roll for Hero podcast with Esteban of Ultra Comics here in about 25 minutes. So please go and check that out. When I end this live, go and check out that one. Goblin says, I still got to start that one you wrote. I got to get stuff done first. Totally fair, dude. Totally fair. The script's good. You already paid for it. You do it at your own speed, man. No problems. Pack says, I just saw that book. It looks sick. Which book did you see? Alice Lost in Wonderland or Monstrel? Ty says, I have thought about getting Goblin for a children comic. Just haven't fully decided to have the convo. I mean, listen. Their art's amazing. You should do it. Like, you're not going to be disappointed. That is for sure. I gotta wrap this up in the next, like, 5 minutes, so if anybody has any last-minute questions or stuff we want to talk about before I go, I'm going to be on the Roll for Hero podcast at 3:30 EST. Please come over, say hi, watch E from Ultra Comics draw something amazing, and me sit there like a bump on a log and just talk about the Digger and some other stuff. And I think aliens. Esteban brought up aliens, so we're probably going to be chatting about aliens. That's probably what they're going to draw as well. Good luck on the podcast, man. Thank you so much. And if Sketching the Beast is still in here, what is the name of the podcast I'm going to be on at 7 o'clock? I don't know the name of the show. I am so sorry. I tried to do my research, but I don't remember the name. I'm 100 years old, and my memory is bad. I'm a dad. I can't remember the name of anything. Writer, open the chat. Oh, I know I won't. Just get scared to hire friends because I do mostly faith-based projects. Well, I mean, like, you wanted to hire me. I'm not an extremely religious guy. I'm not a religious guy at all. I studied religion for a long time at college. But, like, I enjoy working on anything. Mostly anything that anybody has to pay me, as long as it's not offensive that I'm not religious. I enjoy working on that, so I can imagine that most other people do as well. It depends on what you need done, especially like a freelance artist. I don't want to speak for Goblin, but if you need a book drawn and you're willing to pay for it, I don't think there's a lot of scruples there, you know? Kiku, thank you so much for talking with me. You have a good one. Good luck. I do love your work. Thank you so much. Thought you left? No. Always around. All right, everybody. I'm going to bounce out of here. Go and check out the Roll for Heroes podcast I'm going to be on, and watch out for an announcement. I'm on a podcast at 7 o'clock. I don't know if it's live. If it's not live, I'll tell you where to find it after the fact. And check me out next week. I'm going to be on the Cryptid Creator Corner for Comic Book Yeti. And we're going to be talking about lots of cool stuff over there. Mostly the Digger, though. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I appreciate you. Go read some comics.